Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. Welcome to a series of rankings I'm going to be doing. I guess I want to do more rankings this year, so I'm going to start here. Um, so I'm doing the top 10 horror remakes better than the original today. Tomorrow, I'm going to record it right after this. Tomorrow, I'm doing the top 10 worst horror remakes worse. Did I put worse or worst on the thing? Oh, worse than the original. Then I have a series I want to do. I want to do top 10 sequels better than the original and top 10 sequels worse than the original. But there's a lot of ones that are worse than the original. I could just do sequels better than the original and wrong with that. I could do worse sequels, I guess. But, and I also have a series I would like to do. When it comes to rankings, I want to go back. Remember, I was in the Start Project 80s, right? And that didn't go anywhere. I want to reboot that as a ranking of my top 10 personal favorite movies from those years, the 80s and the 90s. I want to go back to that and reboot it that way because I think it works better than trying to cover all the ones that I've seen. It works better for me. But yeah, and then I also want to do a series of, this is inspired by Cody Leach. He did tier rankings of horror originals, sequels, threequels, fourquels. I want to do that with 20 horror franchises. Quiet. It's talking to me. It has a mind of its own. I want to do that, but as rankings. Because tier lists are hard for me to do because all I have is this. I don't want to do that, but I have to. There's one horror franchise on there I haven't covered yet. Phantasm. So I have to do those before I can do that. So Phantasm review series is coming soon. I think that was in my one video. It was part of the ones I wanted to do. So I want to do that. I got to revisit the first one and do the other ones. I have a ranking of the originals, but I want to watch Phantasm again because I could change. I think it's appropriate where I have it listed, but I don't want to throw it out there and watch it and go, oh, actually, you should go here. But we're talking about horror remakes better than the originals. My caveat for these, there's a lot of good remakes. These are ones that are better than the original, not just good ones. You could point out, oh, this one's good, but it's better than the original. Because, there are some out there you could throw. Like, some people would say the Rob Zombie Halloween remake is good. I wouldn't personally, but it's damn sure not better than the original. What else can I say? Child's Play. I say the Child's Play remake is good. It's not better than the original for me. What other ones are that I could think of in my head? There's some that are good, but not better than, I have two honorable mentions here. And again, I want to put out there, this is my personal thoughts. It's subjective. You may not think that because a film could be subjectively better in your opinion, but will still objectively being good. I prefer it. Is it more like horror movies, horror remakes I prefer, personally, subjectively. So for the honorable mentions, I have two. We have It 2017, and I'm kind of got to put the sequel, It Chapter 2, in there too, because they're one continuous story. Kind of like Kill Bill, in a way. It's one continuous story. And when you put that in there, this makes it lower than all the other ones I have on here. But they're not bad. Bill Skarsgård's great. Both sets of actors are good. But of course, the second half is disappointment. It's a disappointment. It's disappointing. I can speak English. Because like that second half of the book is disappointing. So you're never going to get anything in a giant spider and everything. But yeah. And the other honorable mention might get me in trouble. But it's the Carrie remake. The 2013 one. I don't mind the 2002 one, but it's way too TV movie for me. Now, objectively, it's not a better movie than the original. I'll tell you that. However, I prefer to watch this one because it's more toned down, it's less jarring. The original is hard with rewatch value for me because it's so jarring. De Palma does a good job, but it's so jarring in the way that it's filmed and the cinematography and just everything that does that. Doesn't have rewatch value for me. This one I can pop in, put it in the background whenever. Alright? Objectively, it's not better, but subjectively, I prefer it. Alright. So before I continue to my top 10, one more caveat. I have to have seen the original. That is the caveat. I forgot to mention that. I've had to have seen the original, or at least know, in the case of this first one, everything about the original. And that's why I gotta say that, because this first one is speak no evil. Better in every single way. I think it does everything better than the original. And this is the only foreign one on here. Foreign English remake of American remake of a foreign film on here, because you got The Ring and The Grudge. I haven't seen the Japanese originals, and the only other foreign horror film I've seen that are like Asian foreign film is Into the Mirror. I don't know if Mirrors 2 is better than Into the Mirror. I'd have to rewatch them all, but yeah, this does everything better. The plot point with the bunny is explained way better in this, because they don't make the dad a puss like he is in the original. He's a little more fleshed out in this one than he is just a puss in the original. And they flesh out the kid too, where it's a comfort toy. It flips out, and they're forced to go back. And then they don't kill the other kid. Jumps in and saves him. And here's the kicker of why this movie is way better than the other. The ending. I love the ending more, like the ending more than the original, because the original is just so dark and the bad guys win. That's a sucky ending. Here, the good guys win. That's a better ending. Yay! So, all around. And the acting in this is far better as well. So, yeah. This is another one that's a little bit iffy, because I've only seen... I've watched the original, but I couldn't get through it. That's The Invisible Man. I think this is done better. You know, I'm going to say it with all of them, but like, I just think the way they took technology, well, before it's just like a serum that makes it invisible, I feel like using technology works better, especially in the modern age. And, you know, Elizabeth Moss's acting in this is really good. And, you know, in the original, from what I can remember, it's basically he's just doing things on his own and going after people, and he causes a train wreck. Here, you're following another character while the Invisible Man is doing whatever, and, you know, it's more than just seeing things move, and it's, I don't know. Technology has changed since the 1930s, 40s, whatever that was. So, yeah. This one might get me in trouble. Number 8 is Night of the Living Dead, 1990. I can appreciate what the original did, but you can't deny that this is better, because it gives the female lead something to do, something that nowadays people say is woke, it's woke, but they give her something to do. She's empowered. She gets to do something besides just sit there and mope about her brother's death the entire movie. You know, she gets something to do. Being in color helps as well. It doesn't hurt. And you got Tom Savini on the effects and directing this, by the way. And George Romero wrote this. So it's well done. It's, you know, I think it works better than the original. I would be inclined, if I want to throw on a Night of the Living Dead, I'd throw this one on over the original, because, and I've said this before, my copy is very grainy. Sound is off. I don't know. So I prefer this. Following that up, is this even the right? It is. This one might be another one that gets me in trouble, but number 7 is Dawn of the Dead, the Zack Snyder version. I do prefer this, even though I really like the original. I grew up with horror movies in the 2000s, right? That's my era, growing up watching horror movies in the 2000s. So I'm going to prefer those horror movies that came out in 2000s over the older ones. Older movies for me, not going to get me into it as much as the ones from the 2000s. And I watched this first. That's another thing. And then I watched the original. The original is fun. It's fine. It works. For the commentary that Romero was trying to do, it works. This gives me what a 2000s horror fan wants. Gore, blood, maybe some tits in there, some action stuff, because it's Zack Snyder. It works. It works. I debated this next one, number 6, right? 9, 8, 7. 6. Because I have a hard time distinguishing which one is better. But the more I thought about it, with the original or this one, the more I thought about it, I do think this is better executed. And that's My Bloody Valentine 3D. I like the original. I do. But I think this is better executed. They execute a twist that works. The twist in the original, with it being Axel, spoiler alert for these, by the way, is like, oh, it's him. But the reveal is so stupid. It's just like Sarah takes out this mask and he's there, and then we see a flashback of what happened. It's not told to us. Wherein this one, they go a little psychological with it. It was Tom. TJ was the original. It's Tom. And psychologically, he's messed up. He developed DAD or DID, whatever it's called. And now he has another personality living in his head he thinks is Harry Warden. He takes over and he kills people. It works. And the reveal works better than just, oh, it's Axel. The gore, this is 3D, so it's more CG. But if I was told, hey, pick one to watch right now, I usually watch both on Valentine's Day, but if I had to pick one and only one, I would put this one in. Again, 2000s. I went to the theater to see this, so I'm more inclined to do that, but yeah. Number 5. Now, these next 5 are ones that I'm pretty sure no one would argue with. So number 5 is The Fly. Haven't seen the original. I appreciate it. I do. But it's far more cheesy than this. This is a tragic story of a man who just wanted to create teleportation. And instead, he becomes a horrific monster. Cronenberg does a great job of telling you this guy's torturous life now as he mutates into this creature. And you feel it throughout the runtime. It's not... Rewatchability is not there because it's kind of gross-like, but the performances are great between Jeff Goldblum, who nowadays just gets mocked for yes, yes, but he is legitimately a good actor, despite the fact that everything now is on his performance. In one movie, Jurassic Park, he could do a good job. The Invasion of the Body Snatchers remake, which is not in this list because I haven't seen the original, though I hear that this is a better version. But yeah, it's great. Number 4 is a Friday the 13th. Now let me say something here, okay? I don't get people who put Friday the 13th, the original, in such a high echelon as a horror film. Oh, it's a horror classic. It's a turd. Oh, but Tom Savini's gore effects. Polish a turd, it's still a turd. The acting is not good. The cinematography is kind of nah. And it's just overall, and again, this goes back to the My Bloody Valentine. The reveal of the killer is also nothing. There's nothing. We go throughout the film, it's a whodunit, and then she just shows up. Well, hi, this is Voorhees. I'm a friend of the Christies. I'm just like, and of course, because she's the only one we haven't met yet, and everyone else is dead, it has to be her. But it's such a dumb reveal. And the original final girl, Alice, she's a terrible final girl. She's the case of she's the final girl because she's the only one left. That's it. To compare her to others like Ginny, that do better. No, this one gives you a badass Jason Voorhees. Two groups of teenagers you don't like to get killed. Tits, gore, and that doesn't have a third thing. There's some good acting in this, compared to the other acting. This is a great remake. One of the best Jasons, if not the best. I still prefer Richard Booker from 3. But, yes. I just don't get it. Why people think that the original is so damn good. It's when I rank it, it's like in the middle of my ranking. Because it's a turd. If you think about it. It's something made to capitalize on Halloween. That's all it was done for. Admittedly, by Sean Cunningham himself. They said, hey, let's rip off Halloween. That is why they did it. That's why all the killer shots are really POV. Because they wanted to rip off Halloween. That's why they did it. Why this turd of a movie spawned a franchise, I'll never know. It made bank, apparently. But it's a turd. Other than the Tom Savini gore effects, which are fantastic, it's a turd. I'm sorry. The remake is far superior in every single way, except for Trent. He's the worst character. But even then, he's a character. People criticize that character. You're supposed to hate him. You're supposed to. That's the point. By this point, the filmmakers realized, oh, you want characters that you hate, so you can root for Jason to kill these characters. Yes, even if Trent's the only one that you root to get killed. And also, cannot because Trent is in this movie, canonically, it exists in the same universe as the Transformers. I'm just saying. Okay, number 3. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Subjectively, this is my favorite movie. A lot of people would say the original is better. I'd say they're wrong. Again, much like with Carrie, it's subjective because that original has such a feel to it, a grainy, dirty feel. The rewatchability is not there for me. I can put this on. Yes, it's dirty and grimy, but I can put this on whatever I want to watch. I'll put in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003, and I can enjoy it. It's dirty, it's grimy, but again, sorry, Jesus Christ, I've been farting a lot this week. Again, 2000s. That's my era of horror. So that's why I prefer this. I was into it. You know, there's the Platinum Dunes, just like Friday the 13th, but yeah, it is better. It's my personal favorite of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, which there's a lot of those that are few and far between with how good they are. There's only 3 that I really like. This, 2, and the original. And Texas Chainsaw 3D is not bad for me. I can enjoy the goofiness and the badness of it, but yeah, this is better than the original. You ain't changed my mind. Alright? Number 2. Feast on this motherfucker. Evil Dead. Well, Scotty, isn't this your favorite horror remake? It was. It was. Once upon a time ago. Evil Dead remake. Also, Scotty is not a remake. It's in the damn universe. Shut up. It's a remake. Okay? Yes, they could all exist in the same universe. According to the director of Evil Dead Rise, Lee Cronin, is that who it is? He says they all exist in the same universe, and there are 3 different books. The ones from Army of Darkness. One book is the real Necronomicon that Ash had. Another one is the one from this one. Another one is the one from that one. Who cares? Those 3 were never supposed to be actual books. Only one was the original. Did he watch the movie? One is the real one. The other 2 are fake. That was the point. But no, let's get creative and say they're all in the same universe. Who cares? This is a remake. Much like with Friday the 13th, I never got the appeal of that movie. I like every single one of the other movies in that franchise over the original, including Evil Dead Rise, which I didn't particularly care for, but it's still higher up than the original because the original, to me, feels like what it is, a student film. Something they threw together. It's well done, but it's a student film. That's what it feels like. Like a bunch of college students went to the woods and made a movie. That's what it is. It's well done, but out of all of these movies, I'd rather put in any of the other ones than that. Even Evil Dead 2 is one that I'm just like, it's a little too much goofy, but it works in this goofiness. I prefer Army of Darkness. I prefer this. Now I'll put on Evil Dead Rise, sure. I'll watch the TV show. But the original is not one I go back to a lot. Just because, well, this is gnarly. Okay? This is gnarly. The gore. It's not just gore. It's that they linger on it. You get the cutting into the leg type thing. You get the stabbing in the face. It's that you feel the pain. When she licks that Zacto knife, and you see the split, you feel it. And that's what makes this movie work. A lot of people can't do that. People, no. People will say, oh, it's in that torture porn era. I don't see it as that. It's definitely borderline. I don't think it goes to that Saw level or the Collector or even Hostel levels of the torture porn type thing. I think it just on the tip of doing that. It does enough to not jump the borderline, and it works. But number one, the greatest remake ever made is an 80s film, a remake of a 50s film. It's directed by John Carpenter, stars Kurt Russell. It's The Thing. That's right. John Carpenter's The Thing is my personal favorite remake. Yep. Better than the original. And I've seen the original. I did a review on it. It's very Corman. I think it's a Roger Corman thing, was it? Or maybe not. It's very of its time. It's very of the 50s, 60s era of big monster person invades and they have to try to defend it off. It's very much in that vein. This takes that concept, makes the mutating monster with some pretty cool glow effects by Rob Bottin and the score by Ennio Morricone. Did I say that right? And just nails it. And even the ending, which people seem to like to criticize a lot, they're like, no, we have to know who's infected. Oh, it's got to be Kurt Russell, right? Oh, no, it's Childs. It's Childs. Well, not only are you both wrong, because the video game reveals, and now they've remastered it, so it's once again canon. For those of you who say, oh, the video game came out years ago. They remastered it, so now you can't deny that it's canon. Childs was human, and so is McCready. They were both human. Although, it feels like they just did that to settle to stop people from asking. Because to me, it always seemed that Childs was the thing. Because he disappears and it makes an excuse, right? I don't know. It was all too much. I don't know. This is great. Kurt Russell's performance is great. All the performances are good. You know, Wilford Brimley, Harry. Of course, I don't have his name in here. Is it Harry, or is that a character's name he had? I don't know. A lot of great actors here. What's his name? Keith David. Great. Just, yeah. And it's one of those. I want to show this to my son, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. I have the DVD in here. I have to put the bonus disc back in. I have the DVD in here so I can show them, but we haven't got around to it yet. There's been a lot of stuff going on. But this is single-handedly the best remake ever made. One of the best horror movies ever made. Up there with Halloween. Often it kind of goes back and forth, whether this one is it's not my personal favorite, but which one is the best for me personally. You know, I can put Child's Play up there all I want, but I know objectively it's not better than this or Halloween. You know. So there it is, my top 10 remakes, horror remakes, better than the originals. Come back tomorrow for my top 10 horror remakes worse than the originals. We're going to have some shit tomorrow. But for now, what are your thoughts on my list? What are your personal top 10 favorite horror remakes better than the original? That is better than the original. So that depends on what you think is better than the original. How you think of the original movie, you know. But yeah. Let me know in the comments so much. Like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one.